Good evening and welcome. Action by the Election Commission of India against two top officials in Odisha government. In fact, two officials are in the dock. The action against the Chief Minister, IG, Chief Minister Security and Special Secretary in Odisha Chief Minister's office. Now, the Election Commission of India has ordered suspension of the Special Secretary. The Election Commission of India's order says that they exerted undue influence on electoral process. 6 seats of Odisha, remember, are left to vote on June 1st, the last phase of the contest for 2024. It has been a bitter war of words between the BJP and the BJD in Odisha. Let me go across to my colleague Vasudha, who's joining us with more details at this moment. Vasudha, now this is quite peculiar, that too just ahead of the last phase of the elections. I mean, 6 phases on, we have not seen this kind of a harsh action by the Election Commission of India. What triggered this?
Absolutely, Ankit. And all of this is coming after multiple complaints by the BJP that several of its workers have been attacked by BJD political workers in the last few days. In fact, they are citing about 13 instances. And the interesting part is amongst the two officials, while one of them is a special secretary, works in the CMO, the other one is in the IG of CM Security, Asish Singh, and he has been on medical leave since the 4th of May. So if you look at the letter, the action taken by EC says that the special secretary will be suspended. In fact, he would be, sort of handed over suspension tomorrow. But it is this action against the IG of CM Security, which is most interesting because he's been called, he's been asked to report to AIIMS Bhubaneswar. There'll be a thorough medical examination of his. And what I understand from my sources is that this action was taken against these people because of undue influence. And this IPS officer particularly, in some ways, the BJP had alleged that there was politicization of administration that was happening and there was complete political grab by administration. But remember, it is BJD versus BJP there. Tomorrow, the BJD will, of course, respond to this, saying that this is, questioning the, behavior of EC in this. But as of now, what we know is two senior officials of the Odisha CMO have found themselves in the dock. And remember, there's a bitter contest there. Odisha is voting for both assembly and parliamentary elections together. Last time the BJP won 8 seats. It's hoping to get at least 16 seats this time. And it's going to be, the BJD is hoping for a 6th term for Naveen Patnaik, hoping that he becomes the record-breaking chief minister. These are friends turned foes. So there is a lot of conflict dynamics out there.
That's
and
true.
The EC sort of playing an important role in making this contest all the more interesting in Odisha.
That's right. As Vasudha said, the BJP and the BJD almost came together ahead of the elections and now are seeing a bitter war of words in the battle for Odisha. Thank you so much, Vasudha, for joining us with all those details. Moving on now, after Delhi Lieutenant Governor ordered ACB probe into the licenses of private nursing homes, politics has erupted between the Aam Aadmi Party and the LG office. LG has blamed Delhi Chief Minister and Minister for doing mere lip service. Meanwhile, Delhi Minister Saurabh Bhardwaj has written to the Home Secretary and claimed that it has been 4 days since the accident and the Health Secretary is missing. Even after repeated phone calls, messages and emails, there is no response from the Health Secretary. Saurabh Bhardwaj has also alleged that the officers who do not follow orders stop free treatment, stop free medicines, stop work for the public. The LG protects such officers. Let me bring in my colleague Ishika, who's joining us with more details at this moment. Ishika, we were talking about this earlier and it was very clear that the LG has fired a salvo and the Aam Aadmi Party will respond, and they have.
Well, yes, Ankit, as you rightly mentioned, we did see that how, in fact, Lieutenant Governor, in his note to the Chief Secretary, had, in fact, raised questions on the role of the minister and the chief minister over this entire incident. And now, in fact, we are seeing that Health Minister Saurabh Bhardwaj, in fact, has now written to the Home Secretary and blamed it all on the in fact, Health Secretary. He has said in his letter to the Home Secretary that it has been 4 days since the tragedy and the Health Secretary is missing. Remember, on the first day as well, when he had taken cognizance of the matter, even on that day, he had said that the Health Secretary was not picking up his phone. Now, in fact, he has further gone on to say over the Lieutenant Governor's note to the Chief Secretary, he says that Lieutenant Governor is doing politics over the death of innocent children. This is what Health Minister now saying. And he also goes on to say that The officers who do not follow orders, stop pre-treatment, stop medicine, stop the work of the public, the Lieutenant Governor protects them. He also goes on to say that Lieutenant Governor in his entire note to the Chief Secretary has not even uttered a single word regarding the Health Secretary. So Ankit, this is not new. We have seen that how in fact, the Delhi government has always, blamed the bureaucracy and always blamed the Lieutenant Governor of in fact protecting all those officers whom they claim do not listen to the elected government of Delhi.
Right.
But the sad part is that now in fact, this war of words between the Lieutenant Governor and the Delhi government minister, we are seeing over a very, very massive fire tragedy that took place in Delhi. Over to you.
Remember, just as we move on from this story, 7 infants, newborn babies have died in this fire while the political blame game is on. Thank you so much, Ishika, for joining us with all those details. Moving on to Karnataka now, where the SIT, the Special Investigation Team, has moved the Karnataka High Court on May 28, challenging the bail secured by H.D. Revanna in the kidnapping case. Now, JDS MLA H.D. Revanna on May 27th approached the Karnataka High Court seeking quashing of both the cases filed against him. H.D. Revanna faces charges in 2 separate cases, one involving sexual harassment and the other related to kidnapping. He is currently out on conditional bail. Remember, he is the father of, Prajwal Revanna, who is the Member of Parliament from Hassan and accused in this sexual, CD case which has come to fore. Let me go across to my colleague Pratibha, who's joining us with more details at this moment. Pratibha, this is both, in fact, the government and H.D. Revanna approaching the court. And this is happening at a time when Prajwal Revanna is set to appear, at least that is what he has said himself, before the SIT in just about a couple of days.
That's right. In fact, but this plan of the SIT was on for quite some time, because ever since May 20th, when H.D. Revanna secured bail in the sexual harassment case as well, along with the kidnap case, where he had earlier secured the bail from. Right from that date, the SIT had been looking at challenging this bail by approaching the Karnataka High Court, and it is but natural for the SIT to follow protocol and do the same. But of course, the timing of it seems pretty eerie for the Revanna family, because they have not just one but 2 to handle with respect to one, the H.D. Revanna case at the Karnataka High Court, and the other would be Prajwal Revanna's return to India as well. So the SIT will have its hands full this week with respect to fighting the case at the court, as well as interrogating Prajwal Revanna if Prajwal Revanna really sticks to his promise of coming back to India. Because in the case of Prajwal Revanna trying to touch base with the SIT in the form of a social media post where he had sought time to appear before the SIT officials. Whether or not the SIT officials agreed with this, Prajwal Revanna did not really comply with the promise that he had made on the social media post. So there are apprehensions with respect to whether he would really return or not. The SIT trying to have the central investigating agencies help as well in terms of keeping an eye on Prajwal Revanna, trying to look at the whereabouts of his stay, as well as trying to interrogate the place of origin of the video statement that also came in just yesterday. So a lot of action with respect to the investigation around the Prajwal Revanna case there, the father as well as the son having to deal with a lot at this point in time.
Thank you for joining us with all those details. Pratibha reporting from Bengaluru. The 4th accused, Dhawal Thakkar, who was in fact is the main accused, among the main accused in the Rajkot fire, was presented before the Rajkot court, and the court has remanded him to 13-day police custody. He was arrested last night by the Rajkot crime branch from Rajasthan. Remember, he was one of the main accused who was still absconding after this gaming zone was engulfed in a fire which resulted in the death of 30 innocent people. Paras, my colleague, joins us with more details. Paras, what is, of course, success for the police at this moment as far as this man is concerned? What were the arguments that were made for his custody?
So there were several arguments which was very important for this case. Yesterday also, when the 3 accused was produced in the court, the PP was just focused on one major thing, was that the situation which has happened, there were several lapses which was done by the owners of the TRP gaming zone. There was no NOC clearance certificate, no fire certificate was there. There was no plan, which was the layout plan that is much needed and very important, essential things to build some structure. With that, there was no build usage certificate. This type of argument was also done by the PP today in front of respected court. So there were several things which has come up in this entire situation. There are 4 arrests in this entire case. One owner who was having 60% stake in this entire TRP zone has declared dead in the incidents which happened where 28 lost their lives. So only one accused remaining in this entire matter now who is still running away from crime branch, but possibly right now the 4 accused has been arrested by Rajkot crime branch, and today the 4th accused, Dhaval Thakkar, was produced in the respected court and he has been remanded 13 days of police custody.
Thank you so much for joining us with all those details, Paras, reporting there. Now, in the suspected murder case of Bangladesh MP, some shredded flesh and body parts have been recovered from a septic tank of a residence in Newtown, Kolkata. The chopped body parts were recovered from a septic tank in the same apartment where the MP was allegedly murdered. Police sources say that a forensic investigation will establish whether the body parts which have been recovered are of the Member of Parliament from Bangladesh.
Well, in latest developments in the murder of the Bangladesh MP, it has come to light that perhaps the police have been able to locate what they suspect could be remains of the Bangladesh MP who was murdered in Newtown. Now, police sources tell NDTV that perhaps they found flesh that could be human flesh, and this flesh, of course, is going to be sent for forensic examination to establish what it is and whether, of course, it is part of the remains of the murdered Bangladesh MP whose body, as we know, was chopped up by a butcher who was entrusted to do the job and then, of course, thrown in different parts of the town. This was a conspiracy. The police were investigating it. The police had already concluded this was a case of murder, but they had not found the body yet. Now what they're saying is that they found some 3.5 kgs of what seems to be, what they suspect to be human flesh, and they believe that this could very well be parts of the dismembered body of the Bangladesh MP who was murdered in the Newtown area of Kolkata. However, this will only be established after a forensic test is completed on this recovery that the police have made. Other places also are seeing searches, including divers, to try and locate the dismembered body of the Bangladesh MP Anwarul Azim Anar, who was allegedly murdered in a flat in Kolkata's Newtown area.
Turning up the political heat over a Pune accident in which 17-year-old boy, in fact, rammed his Porsche into a bike, killing 2 techies in their 20s. The Congress has alleged the son of an MLA was also involved in the accident and the legislator took part in the cover-up. The allegation has been levelled by Maharashtra Congress chief Nana Patole and has come in the wake of the claims that doctors of Sassoon Hospital were paid 3 lakh rupees to replace the teenagers' blood samples so that they would not show traces of alcohol. Meanwhile, Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde for the first time spoke on this case, said that he is in touch with the Pune Police Commissioner since day one and nobody is rich or poor in front of the law.
घटनाक्रम समजून घेतलाय आणि कन्सर्न ऑफिसरची चौकशी केली आहे. पुढील चौकशी करायला आम्ही
आरोप लगे डॉक्टर
अरे म्हणून घ्या ना खाली. चौकशी समिती आहे. आम्ही आमचे निष्कर्ष आणि आमच्या सूचना शासनाला कळवू. त्या रिपोर्टचा पुढे काय करायचं हा निर्णय सर्वस्वी केलेली आहे. त्याच्यावर काय ऍक्शन होणार हे आम्हाला शासनाने सांगितलं की लवकरात लवकर रिपोर्ट सबमिट करावा.
इस केस में मैं पहले दिन से पुलिस कमिश्नर पुणे इनके संपर्क में था. मैंने पहले दिन से कहा है आरोपी जो भी कितना ही बड़ा हो, उसको कोई भेदभाव नहीं होना चाहिए। गरीब हो या अमीर हो, कानून के दायरे में सब एक समान होते हैं और किसी को भी बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। कठोर कार्रवाई, कड़ी कार्रवाई करने की सूचना मैंने दी है। जो बच्चों की डेथ हुई है वो भी किसी के तो बच्चे हैं, तो इसके लिए जितने भी लोग इसमें दोषी हैं उनको कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
Quick break at this moment. News and updates on the other side. Stay tuned. Now to northeast, where the effects of Cyclone Remal, India has in fact were felt. The most, in fact, extreme heavy rains, gusty winds and storm causing massive destruction. A trail of destruction has been left behind. Loss of life has been reported and has in many places life has completely been thrown out of gear. Several parts there is red alert for more rains and storm issued by the Meteorological Department of India. As cyclone has weakened, but the danger remains. My colleague Ratndeep Chaudhary with this report.
After Cyclone Remal made landfall, scenes of devastation across several states in the northeast. The heavy rain and strong winds have continued, adding to the destruction. In Mizoram's capital Aizawl, heavy rains and landslides led to collapse of a stone quarry. Over a dozen people have died and search and rescue operation continues for over half a dozen people still missing there. Many of the dead are migrant laborers. In a series of landslides in Mizoram, over 20 people have died. The Mizoram government has shut schools and government offices. Only emergency services are operational. In Assam, at least 2 people are dead and at least 17 injured. One of the dead, a 17-year-old student who died when a tree fell on the 3-wheeler the student was using to get to school in Morigaon district. In Sonitpur district, at least 12 students were injured when a tree fell on their bus in Dhekiajuli. Highway has been washed away in stretches in Dima Hasao. In neighboring Meghalaya, at least 1 life was lost and at least 6 injured in landslide and a wall collapse in Sutunga Welong in East Jaintia Hills. The Met Department has further warnings.
Early winds with speed reaching up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, gusting to 60 kilometers per hour is very likely to occur at isolated places over Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. साथ ही साथ thunderstorm and lightning is very likely to occur at isolated places over Arunachal Pradesh. Heavy to very heavy with extremely heavy rain is very likely to occur at isolated places over Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. Or heavy to very heavy rain with is very likely to occur at isolated places over Arunachal Pradesh.
Despite Cyclone Remal weakening in strength ever since its landfall, its effect have been felt severely in northeast India, where there have been heavy rains along with cyclonic storms which have created havoc, not only causing loss of life and loss of property, but even severe outage of power, as well as had hit इंटरनेट एंड मोबाइल सर्विसेज।
ये तो बिजली तो नहीं है, कल रात से नहीं है, बहुत मुझे कस्टमर नहीं है, नहीं सुबह से दुकान खुल के बैठा है, बारिश भी है, इंटरनेट नहीं चला है, बिजली भी नहीं है, ऐसे हमें मुश्किल है हमारा।
जो स्कूल है वो भी बंद के लिए आज ही मतलब अलर्ट दिया गया था, स्कूल के लिए नहीं आना है और फुटपाथ के ऊपर जा रहा है पानी।
With camera person Sanjay Chakravarti in Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
That's all the time that we have in this edition. News and update continue on NDTV. Thank you so much for being with us.